Hello, in this video I'll be explaining how to properly perform the safe overhead in small ball. The safe overhead is a swinging technique which is mainly used to shoot and also pass in some situations during the game. The safe overhead needs to be performed in a way that does not endanger other players. It is important to ensure safety in small ball to make it fun and safe for all. The safe overhead is not extremely difficult to perform, but there are a few rules you need to be aware of to ensure the safety of all players. Rule number 1. The player doing the free hit must execute it in a safe manner. This means that the player should not have a backswing or a follow through. Rule number 2. In the case of a free hit, which occurs when a foul is committed by a player from the opposing team, the other players must be 4 steps away from the player taking the free hit. It is also important to remember that the player taking the free hit is allowed to hit directly at the goal. Now we will move on to the part where I will show you step by step how to perform a safe overhead. In the following video, I will demonstrate the safe overhead as if I was taking a free hit, where the ball is tossed up from my hand and then hit. First of all, as shown here, lift your arm while keeping it in your line of sight and hit the ball with your racket towards the direction you are aiming at. It is important to remember that the racket needs to start in a position where it is in your line of sight. This should also be the case throughout the entire swing. If you cannot see the racket, you may start too far back and hit someone behind you. This is illegal and this is called a backswing. The swing should also not have a follow-through. As shown here, as soon as the ball is hit, the racket should stop. By doing this, you prevent your arm from potentially going down and having a follow-through and thus smashing someone in the head with the racket. To get more power in the safe overhead, you can use the helicopter movement as shown in the video. By rotating your wrist, as shown, you can add force and increase the accuracy of the safe overhead. In the next example here, I will demonstrate how to perform the safe overhead as if receiving the ball in mid-air, mimicking a situation in the game where I may receive a pass from a teammate. The process is the same as previously mentioned. Start with the racket in your line of sight, then swing overhead with no follow-through or backswing for safety. Finally, I will show an exaggerated overhead swing which shows the two most common mistakes while performing the safe overhead. The following demonstration will give you an idea of what not to do when performing the safe overhead. As you can see from what I just did, I started with the racket behind my back, which is called a backswing and is potentially dangerous if there are people behind you. To correct this mistake, you can always keep in mind that the racket should be in your line of sight. Also, I follow through with my swing, which could potentially be a player's head, posing a threat to any player who is defending you. To correct this mistake, you can keep in mind that you should stop your swing when the racket is still pointing upwards. To be able to do this, you should have a strong wrist. The backswing and follow-through shown are extremely unsafe and breaks the rules of small ball. These may be potentially dangerous and counted as a foul during the game. The safe overhead is one of the core skills in small ball and is essential for all players to know, as unsafe plays such as hitting someone with a racket will cost your team a free hit and lead to an interruption of the game. I hope that this demonstration of the safe overhead was helpful. Thank you and have fun playing and scoring, but be safe.